So I'm standing on a riverbank on a hot summer day in Austin, Texas, holding this old rope swing, and it's a famous rope swing. It's called El Diablo. It's on the Barton Creek Greenbelt, and there's a group of people all cheering me on, going El Diablo, El Diablo, and all my friends are watching, and it's this famous rope swing because you swing out over the river, and if you don't let go at exactly the right time, then you swing back and you smack into the muddy riverbank, and it's not pretty what happens. And so I'm standing there, just trying to build up my courage to go for El Diablo, and I'm holding the rope swing, and this is the first time I've done a rope swing in about 10 years. And I'm thinking about that as I'm holding this rope swing. Because the last time I used a rope swing over the water, I was in Maine where I grew up. And my cousin and I had, we had found this like skinny rope. It wasn't the proper width for a rope swing, but we had this idea that we were going to build a rope swing over this river bank. And so we climbed up into the tree and we tied the rope up, and then we put it down, and then we tried it out, but we didn't quite calculate it right. So if you didn't let go at the right time, you would land on these rocks, and so it just wasn't working out for us, and so what we did, and it was getting time for dinner. So what we did was we took the rope and we climbed back up and we wrapped it around the tree limb, and we went to dinner at my cousin's house. And then the next morning, we woke up in the morning, and my uncle was sitting there. My Uncle Sid, who was this big, imposing man, and he was reading the paper. And he was like, "Did you boys hear what happened over on the riverbank last night?" And we said, No, what happened, Uncle Sid? And he said, a little Indian boy found a rope swing, and he swung out, and he landed on the rocks, and an ambulance had to come and take him to the hospital. It was an emergency situation. And he said, do you guys know anything about a rope swing? And we said, no, wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's a weird story. And we never owned up to that we had put the rope swing up there. And so ever since then, I had been afraid to use a rope swing because I felt like karma was going to get me. Like anytime anyone said, like, "Oh, go use that rope swing," I would never do it because I felt like it would break and I would land on the rocks or something terrible would happen. But here I was in Austin, Texas, 10 years later, holding on to El Diablo, ready to swing out. And everyone around me, by the way, is stoned and or drunk on tequila, and they're all going, El Diablo, El Diablo. And I'm like, I have to just face up to the, my mistakes as when I was young. I just have to do this. This is my chance to break this cycle of karma. So I swing back and I ride the rope all the way out. And as I'm riding out there's this one spot where you have to let go. And I'm riding out and I hear someone yell, "Snake!" and I'm holding on, and I look down and I see what looks like this like kind of strange thing, like the way snakes look as they're slithering across the water. It's really strange, and I'm thinking, like, I have to make a split-second decision. Do I let go and land where the snake is slithering across the water, or do I swing back and smack into the muddy bank? And so I decide I'm going to let go. And so I let go of the rope swing, and I go down, and I land to what I calculated is just about like 3 or 4 feet from where the snake is slithering. And my plan that I only have a few seconds to make this plan, is that I'm going to stay underwater as long as possible, because then hopefully the snake will leave. And so I land, and I just sink down to the bottom, and I'm holding my breath, and I'm looking up at the surface of the water, And I think I can see this body. It's like the longest snake I've ever seen in my life, just circling the spot where I've landed. And I think I can tell that it's like kind of pissed off that somebody has landed right in the water. And I'm underwater trying to hold my breath. I figure like it's a matter of life and death. The longer I can hold my breath, the better chance I have to survive what I'm sure is a poisonous snake up above. And I just want to continue this story with my uncle. After this event happened, I called up my cousin, and I was like, hey, I got to tell you, I finally did a rope swing, and this crazy thing happened was I swung out, and this snake slithered out as I was about to land, and I felt like it was karma for that situation with the Indian kid that landed, that hurt his back on the rocks and everything. And my cousin said, he was like, my dad never told you that was a lie? And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, he made that up. He found the rope swing, and he just wanted to teach us a lesson. So he told us, he made up this whole story about this Indian kid who hurt his back. And I was like, what? For 10 years, I never went on a rope swing because I was sure karma was going to get me. It was going to get me. And so I'm underneath the water, and I'm looking up at this. I'm sure the snake is just circling the spot. I'm trying to hold my breath as long as I possibly can, and I'm just holding it until finally I black out, and I wake up, and I'm on a riverbank, and my friends are all like, "What the fuck were you doing? Why did you? What is your fucking problem?" And I'm coughing up water, and my friend is punching me in the chest as hard as he can, because it's that's his version of CPR. and he's just punching me, and they're all stoned, by the way. and I'm like, the snake. What about the snake? I was trying to I thought they were all going to congratulate me for avoiding the snake, and they were like, "What snake? What are you talking about?" And there was no snake. I had imagined that there was a snake, and I had imagined that I had heard someone yell snake, and I had stayed underwater and almost killed myself. And they say that karma is like a bitch, but now when I hear that saying, I'm like, yeah, karma's a bitch. It's a bitch. There's no such thing as karma. You don't have to worry about it. There's no regrets. Thank you.